It's 9 p.m. on a Tuesday, and Elena's standing in her boutique on Main Street, keys in hand, ready to close up. The foot traffic today was slow, again. She scrolls through Instagram. There's Warby Parker announcing their 51st store, Vuori opening in her neighborhood next month. The digital giants are coming to her block. But here's what Elena doesn't realize. Those digital darlings aren't coming to compete with her. They're coming because they finally understand what she's had all along. For a decade, everyone said physical retail was dying. The smart money was digital. Facebook ads, Instagram influencers, direct-to-consumer, that was the future. Then something broke. The math that made online acquisition so attractive, it stopped working. And the brands that built empires on cheap clicks, they're scrambling. Today we're going to talk about the great reversal, why online brands are racing back to Main Street, and why local businesses hold cards they don't even know they have. Let's start with what happened to digital. Between 2023 and 2025, customer acquisition costs for online brands rose 40%. That's not a typo, 40%. Think about what that means. If you were paying $50 to acquire a customer 2 years ago, now you're paying $70. Your margins just got crushed, and you didn't change a thing. Privacy changes made targeting harder. Apple's iOS updates blocked tracking. Meta's algorithms shifted. Google tightened data sharing. The playbook that built Warby Parker and Allbirds stopped delivering. So what did these digital natives do? They went physical. Warby Parker, the poster child for DTC eyewear, now operates over 50 brick-and-mortar stores. Glossier, Allbirds, Bonobos, Brooklinen, Skims, Away, Vuori, the brands that made their names online are opening stores as fast as they can sign leases. According to Main Street America, these DTC brands now view physical locations as, quote, showrooms, customer engagement hubs, and brand building tools. Notice what's not in that list? Sales channel. These brands figured out something surprising. The store isn't primarily for selling, it's for connecting. Industry analysts put it bluntly, in 2026, the shift from pure direct-to-consumer to omni-channel is now the viability test for DTC business models. Period. Now here's where it gets interesting for you. If you're running a physical business, a shop, a studio, a restaurant, a service, you already have what these companies are paying premium rents to get. You have foot traffic, you have face-to-face relationships, you have community presence, you have what 100 million in venture capital cannot manufacture, trust built over time. And here's the thing about Gen Z, the generation everyone assumed would live their whole lives online. Turns out, they want exactly what Main Street has. According to marketing charts, 65% of Gen Z shops local specifically to feel more connected to their community. That's not price, that's not convenience, it's connection. CNBC reports that Gen Z's going analog trend is giving small businesses a genuine boost. The generation that grew up with smartphones in hand is actively seeking offline experiences. Here's a number that should make every local business owner pay attention. Gen Z's spending is increasing at twice the rate of previous generations at the same age. Their collective spending power is projected to grow from $2.7 trillion in 2024 to $12.6 trillion by 2030. That's not pocket change, that's a tidal wave of purchasing power. And when surveyed 100%, not 99%, 100 of Gen Z respondents said they would take some action to help local businesses. 70% said they'd shop locally more often. This isn't passive goodwill. These are people actively looking for businesses like yours. They want to find you. So we've got rising digital costs pushing big brands into physical space. We've got the largest emerging generation actively seeking local businesses. The market is literally coming to Main Street. But here's where most small businesses miss the opportunity. They undervalue what they have. They assume the big brands have all the advantages. They're wrong. So let's talk about what you can actually do with this information. First, you might want to audit your community connection advantage. This is your moat against DTC invaders. Think about it. Do you source locally, hire from the neighborhood, sponsor the Little League team, donate to the school auction? That's not just being nice. That's building competitive advantage that no digital brand can replicate. But community connection alone isn't enough. Inc. magazine found that 73% of Gen Z would buy more from small businesses that provide wider payment and delivery choices. That means considering options like buy now, pay later, Apple Pay, Google Pay, same-day delivery through services like DoorDash or Uber, curbside pickup. The options Gen Z expects from Amazon, you can offer them too. Here's another angle. DTC brands are opening stores as engagement hubs. They know the transaction isn't the point, the experience is. So consider what customers can do in your space beyond buy. A wine shop can host tastings. A bookstore can run author events. A fitness studio can build a community beyond class times. The physical space you pay rent for, it's an asset these digital brands are desperate to have. Now here's something that often gets overlooked. You have foot traffic, actual humans walking through your door, that DTC brands are paying 40% more to get online. So you might want to capture that traffic for digital growth. Every person who walks in is a potential email subscriber, a social media follower, a member of your owned audience, and that audience compounds over time. Here's a counterintuitive move. Consider collaboration over competition with DTC brands entering your market. They need physical presence. You have it. That's leverage. Pop-up partnerships, shop-in-shop arrangements. They get your foot traffic and local credibility. You get their brand awareness and marketing reach. Both sides can win. And don't underestimate discoverability. For Gen Z, finding a business starts with a near me search. If your Google business profile isn't updated, you're basically invisible. Update your Google business profile weekly. Add photos, respond to reviews, post updates about what's new. This is free visibility that drives physical visits. The exact traffic DTC brands are paying a fortune to generate. Now, every business is different. What works for a 10-person service company might not fit a solo retail operation. The principles hold, but the execution is yours to adapt. And here's a market shift worth watching. Main Street America reports that only 54% of U.S. adults now consume alcohol, the lowest rate in about 90 years. If you're in hospitality, that's a signal worth considering. Non-alcoholic experiences, craft mocktails, coffee-focused evenings, alcohol-free social spaces represent an underserved market. But not everything in physical retail is rosy. Small firms shed 120,000 jobs in November 2025 alone. The pressure is real, and differentiation matters more than ever. That's why this shift matters so much. The DTC exodus to physical retail isn't just a trend, it's a market correction. Digital got too expensive. Physical proved its value. The fundamentals reasserted themselves. Take Majory, the jewelry brand. They opened their first physical store in 2018. Now they have over 50 locations. They didn't abandon digital. They realized physical makes digital work better. As one retail analyst put it, brands like Warby Parker, Vuori, Skims, Gymshark, and On are now using owned stores as brand engines first and sales channels second. Brand engine. Think about that phrase. The store isn't there to ring up transactions. It's there to create relationships, build loyalty, and turn customers into advocates. Here's the thing. You don't need venture capital to build that. You can build it with consistency, with care, with showing up for your community week after week. That compounds. I want to be clear here. This isn't financial advice. Your situation is unique. But the pattern we're seeing across hundreds of small businesses is hard to ignore. The businesses that are thriving right now share common traits: strong local presence, modern payment options, experience-driven spaces, and robust digital discoverability. It's not either or, it's both. And that's the opportunity right now. The venture-backed brands spent a decade and billions of dollars learning what you already knew. People want connection. They want community. They want Main Street. So if you're a local business owner feeling like you're competing against giants with infinite resources, remember this: they're spending those resources to build what you already have. The foot traffic, the relationships, the community trust, the physical presence. These aren't liabilities in a digital age, they're assets. And the market is finally pricing them correctly. If this kind of signal is useful to you, the market shifts that actually matter for small businesses, consider subscribing. We cover this stuff every week because it matters. Let's bring it back to Elena, standing in her boutique doorway. Those DTC brands opening down the street, they're not her competition. They're her validation. Everything she built, the relationships, the community presence, the physical space, that's exactly what the digital giants discovered they couldn't live without. So here's to Main Street. To the businesses that stayed when everyone said physical was dead, the market didn't change its mind about you, it finally caught up. Until next time, keep watching the signals. Remember, this content is for informational purposes only and is not financial advice.